Bear down, Chicago Bears.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. I don't know the last lines in that song.
Classic Andy.
I know. There's like a local radio thing where they make
Hey,
fun of
learning
it.
about the YouTube channel is life changing. Yes. What tell people about the YouTube channel while I tweet out that link, Andy?
Oh yeah, if you don't love Periscope, we are
Because
also
it's
there's
struggling lately.
some. It's like some people have a great experience with Periscope. Other people have struggles with Periscope. This is always going to be also simul streamed. That's maybe not even a word on YouTube. Every time, if you can comment on the YouTube, we're gonna see your comments just the same. So it's basically the same thing. I'm not sure. This guy says we should get on TikTok. I didn't know how that works. I made a couple TikToks once, but I just couldn't get into it. The Bears not capitalizing on the last two drives, the field goals, is disappointing. Foles missing everything open. Like it's yeah, I'm in the bathroom. It's the powder room. The guest shitter, as someone says. That's pretty funny. Wi-Fi, yeah. This guy says like Wi-Fi is fine, non-Wi-Fi horrific. I don't know. Maybe he's meant that the other way around. So we got lines yet, Drew, or do you got thoughts in the first half?
Well, have we let enough time tick by? Have we given in people their proper credit for chiming in?
Yeah, people are in. We got Siegs, we got Just We got C
Nick and
Capper,
Jared,
Nick,
yeah, coming in from
Pollock, Jared,
YouTube.
Max, all the
Nose
boys are
picks.
here.
He's nose picks been
Oh,
an
I
old
just got that joke
reliable
now.
sea capper. Which one?
Nose picks, like it.
He picks his nose. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, of course. All right, yeah. Let's
Both
give some
teams should
thoughts
be up
here.
by 10. That made no sense. Take a look here.
Yes. All right, good stuff, guys. I guess I felt until the Khalil Mack. How did Nick Foles win a Super Bowl? Man,
Blood magic.
my bankroll is just now barely recovering from that Super Bowl run because I was against him the whole way and then some. Yeah, no, as a Bears backer in this game, I haven't felt good for a moment until that Khalil Mack pick and then the subsequent solid throw by Foles. I thought they were going to get a touchdown in that drive. I would have loved a 10-7 lead right now. 7-6 is not nearly as comforting or inspiring. 13 points feels a little low so far. I feel like we should have had some more points. Every single rushing
Where
attempt
was
by
the
Minnesota feels like a bad play because other than that one pick, and Cousins has made 2 or 3 mistakes,
where
but
was
otherwise
the
he's been
where was
pretty
the
sharp.
fumble at? Like what point in the field? We're right around the opponent's
20,
30?
about the 20.
Was it
Yeah,
down to all the way to the 20? So
it was in that
basically,
ballpark.
I couldn't remember how deep. I knew they were deep. I couldn't remember how deep. So basically, yeah, I think Minnesota should kind of probably be up by more. They've had 2 turnovers in really bad spots. The Foles pass for a pick, it wasn't awful, but it was awfully high. You should probably come down with that. That's just bad luck. There's a safety sitting back there when you tip it. It sucks to get the ball after your defense, bends a little, and then right away just toss it right back to him like that. So that was rough. It's been a struggle as a Bears backer today to watch this because I
It
know
has been.
my team should have my Bears should have scored more than 6, but also Minnesota should probably like if you have
Here's
who should be pissed off is over betters.
Oh
This
yeah,
this should
absolutely.
be like 20-17.
It should be it should be like 10-10. It should be like 10-10.
Crazy.
But no, here's the thought. It feels like Minnesota put together a really good script for the first 15. Like they were
Like the
really
18 Bears.
they were really moving well in the first 15. And Chicago's defense is no joke. Chicago's coverage was excellent. They were playing well, but it felt like they had their script dialed in. They were moving the ball well, and they only got 7 points out of it. That feels like a failed opportunity that they should have had more. I still think the Bears win this game ultimately. They get the ball first. Everyone wants this ageless. This is out of control at this point. I do not know what is going on. It doesn't matter if you bet Democrats or Republicans. It doesn't matter if you bet yes or no on Trump.
It's a bipartisan issue.
It's terrible.
Cash the election bets. I'm
Yes.
crossing the aisle.
You're coming over from the Kanye party to the real world party.
Yeah, sorry.
Realistically, the second half. Okay, so basically they line second half Bears plus 1.5. The Vikings are taking money. I'm seeing that get bet out It's a juicy -1.5 on the Vikings now, -130. Vikings took a lot of action pregame. They were the hot side here, no doubt about that. But realistically now they're basically saying juicy Vikings -2.5 is the outcome here, which is where we were. Oh no, really? Yeah. That's where we were. When this thing opened. So basically they've come all the way back to the opening line here on this one. Total way down here, 21.5. Wind has not been a problem. That was one of the reasons I saw some under money come in last week, and that has not been a factor. Much bigger factor is Nick Foles sucks and Minnesota is rushing the ball too much. But I kind of want the over in this spot if I'm going to make any play. What are your thoughts?
I am so happy you said that. It's been so long.
I know.
I jested about how there should be 37 points in the first half, but I do lean to the over here. Just 0 for 1 in the red zone for the Bears. They probably should have done a little more with that last drive. Minnesota, 2 turnovers so far. Not deep, but deep enough in enemy territory. 20. I thought it would open a little higher. The pregame total was 44. It was getting bet up. I don't think the weather's not affecting it. Let's
we can get plus 100 on 25. We can get plus 100 on 21.5, and I don't mind that because I don't think this is coming in with 3 touchdowns flat, right?
Just bet it.
Okay.
You gonna make a banner or should I? I'll make the banner. You
too late.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You got me.
Actually, I could get plus 101 right now.
I'd probably take this one too if you need to parlay it with something. Elway goes after Foles. So, all right. It feels good not to be sweating it. So what's the opposite? So last night we had an under, and the Patriots went down and scored in 3 seconds.
Yes.
So tonight, what are we looking at? A 22-play field goal drive?
Exactly, by the Bears. Bears go up 9-7 after they eat half the clock. Yeah.
Do you think this is predictive? Because it's getting to be the point where it's kind of ridiculous, where it feels like other teams are making adjustments, Nagy isn't. This will be the first third quarter we get in the Bill Lazor era.
I haven't been overly impressed by his play calling, although there have been less very predictable runs. That is all I can say. His very first play call was a very predictable run, and all of the rest of his play calls were pretty decent. He's targeting Allen Robinson enough for my taste. I don't know. I think of the two, Bears are calling better plays. It's just that Nick Foles can't really execute them very well.
Oh yeah, Foles settles down a little here and hits some open receivers because people are getting open. I'm fine with this. And then Minnesota's going to get out there. Montgomery being out helps this offense, says Drew, another Drew, in the chat. That's probably right. Montgomery, when did you have the Bears or the Bears over a couple weeks ago, and you were losing your mind every time they gave the ball to Montgomery? Yeah,
both.
Patterson, as much as I've shat on him over his career, he hasn't looked awful. He's been a nice little fill-in. He was more of a receiver. And this is a good point. Our boy Timmy here. Buster sucks.
Yeah, he does.
You should throw at him. Just pick on him.
He's a good tackler. Not great coverage.
And a Komet sighting. Yeah, I could use more Komet.
I guess. Do you agree with my decision to take over 21.5 at plus money rather than laying a fat juicy 21 over 21?
I'm playing with house money, baby.
Okay.
4 in a row.
Okay. I like that. It was one of the things that was a little fluky about that first half that really helped the total, depress the total, was there were just hardly any penalties.
There was only one, and it was on I believe did Minnesota start with the ball? Yes. So when Trevathan jumped offside on the cheap hard count play, that was the only penalty we've had the whole game so far.
Yeah, and if it's called a little tighter in the second half, then you're going to get more clock stoppages. That'll help things a little bit here. Honestly, they're protecting Foles well, and Minnesota is blitzing. They are really trying to craft a pass rush because they know that if they can get in Foles' head, he's not going to make optimal decisions. That is very clear. If you can fluster him at all, and so they're coming in with some pretty exotic blitzes. But overall, the Bears' offensive line is doing a good job tonight. There have been a couple of deep developing pass plays, the one to Robinson most notably, that I think kind of speak to some hope that the Bears are going to get some chunk plays.
Ooh, we've got irresistible force versus immovable object. We have the worst third quarter offense, third quarter defense. So,
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, baby.
Bears.
This guy's playing some Bears plus 1.5. I hope the Bears win.
The wrong play is the Bears plus 1.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
We're playing a less juicy line. We're selling out a half point.
Yeah.
Getting a little sketchy. Like if you have a 21 and you want to play a 21, do it.
Sure. P. Peterson makes a great point. Foles was so slow on that 2-yard run, which goes to a broader point, which is if Trubisky can go, give him the ball. Give him the ball back because at least he's a more dynamic athlete and gives you some element of something on the ground. I guess if you're trying to win, if you're the Bears, if the Bears lose this game, they probably need to rethink their priorities for the remainder of the season, right?
Yeah, Trubisky he's not active because of injury, or they just don't want him on the roster right now.
It's an injury. It's an injury thing today, is what I heard.
Injury from that they brought him in for like that one Wildcat play,
and he got smashed. Yeah, that's the same one.
Here's a good question again, Tim. Just spamming the chat with good questions today. Sorry, but yeah, I did. Well, I knew he was injured, but sometimes they just keep him off the active roster for an extra week when they could bring him back. I didn't know how bad the shoulder was. He was in for that one play and got injured. I
have a perfect answer for you. What the Bears do
in the offseason. What are we thinking?
Bring in Sam Darnold.
I like it.
It worked for Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill. Roll the dice. Sam Darnold is a young man.
Bring in Sam Darnold. Go get Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen. Let him compete.
Josh Rosen doesn't have the goods.
Neither of them got the fair shake.
Well, neither got a fair shake,
Reed
but
wants
at least
to draft someone, I think, and he's a Bears fan.
They're not going to have a good enough pick, is the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. The 5-1 start kind of screwed him. Although it is a rich draft as far as picks. I'm surprised Reed isn't saying Ian Book. It's a fit. Right?
I don't like that.
No, I'm just kidding because he's a Notre Dame guy.
Okay. So here's the thing. So number one. Who Foles or Cazorla for sure.
Like
he's yeah.
He's lithe. You know?
Yeah, I think he's a runner too. I think he's got runner's genes. Yeah, for sure. No, the quarterback market is going to be hot for drafting, and it's not because just all of the recent first round picks have turned out to be pretty darn good, but for sure, a lot of teams in the quarterback market. You're going to have the top two pretty obviously Lawrence and Fields. And then after that, you think the BYU kid goes third quarterback drafted, the BYU kid, or Trey Lance from North Dakota State University?
Ooh, I mean, we have a lot of games to play out yet, and especially like the Pac-12 they have like a whole fucking season left. They barely started, so there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. We will be putting together the early deep dive mock draft here sometime soon, and by soon I mean like in the next month, because I had a lot of fun doing that. We did it like the day before the draft, and it was a ton of fun. It was very challenging, and I said I wish we would have done it a little earlier.
Oh yeah, 100% agreed with you. 100% agreed. Is it overtime yet? It's got to be close.
I don't think Reed would screw with us.
It is overtime.
All right, did you hit the overtime?
Yes, and you'll never believe what's going on right now. You'll never fucking believe it. You'll never fucking believe it. It's so good. It's so good.
We said nice things.
It's so good. Didn't we? It's so good. That was so good.
On a good note before.
That was so good. Let's double check. There was not a flag on the field. There were no flags on the field. 104-yard kickoff return by Cordell Patterson. That's how you like to begin a second half over, especially when the Bears were your bailout play. That's how you like to start the second half.
Oh yeah, and it was the Bears. Like I'm just thinking about our over. We have Bears money. I have the Bears teased up. Here it's Bear down.
Yes.
Chicago Bears.
Yes.
put up a fight.
Yes.
The mites are
That was
fearlessly.
awesome.
I need the music behind me.
Bam. I'd have to do the
Corderell.
overtime tonight.
Corderell.
Cordero. I thought it was Cordero, wasn't it?
It is. I say
It's
it.
almost certainly Cordero.
He is a former. It's people
Ooh,
did
Chris
not
Paul to the
think
Suns thoughts. Okay.
Patterson revenge game.
That's a great point. Let's reframe this. It's overtime now. We will answer any questions you have while we enjoy
Hit us with
the
the
bask in the
questions while
glories.
we're
First one is
afterglow.
easy, obvious one, ageless here. Chris Paul to the Suns. Thoughts? I like this.
Suns
I
are
like
a good
this
team.
move. The Suns are a good team.
What
First of
are
all,
the Suns? 4 seed?
probably five. 4 or 5. They're in that mix.
Ceiling. Yep.
They're in that mix. 4 is the ceiling.
They were fun. They were my favorite team in the bubble because
not even close.
This team was so fun. You just
actually, you know what? The Trailblazers were fun too, but the Suns were amazing to back. They were so good against the spread in that restart. They were absolutely robbed of an opportunity to play for the play-in game. The Memphis Grizzlies stole their spot. It was bullshit. And yeah, the Suns with Chris Paul are going to be a very, very decent team. I think Chris Paul, he definitely elevated his performance big time between Houston and OKC. And I don't know if he's got one more year of that in him. My guess is he does. He seems to be taking pretty good care of himself. He didn't have any injury problems at all last year. So maybe that was lucky. If he has injury problems, it's not great, but the Suns are a great young team and they're going to be a fun team to back, especially out of the gate. What was your predictions on MVP?
MVP predictions? It might be one of those things where people come and people go, but Pat Mahomes is still just the best player in the league. Where Russell got a lot of excitement, a lot more excitement than the people who did want to get on the Josh Allen bandwagon. That was short-lived. But the Wilson bandwagon, that actually had steam. Like that made some sense. He was playing out of his mind. And he's had some bad games. He now has double-digit interceptions. He up there with, like, Danny Dimes. That's a rough look for something like that. Like, we have some Mahomes from preseason at 4-1. It's right now it's between Mahomes, Big Ben, and Jameis.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I also think
you know what?
Let me throw a wild card. Let me throw a wild card candidate in here for you. Obviously, it goes to a quarterback. The quarterbacks deserve the highest credit. What do you think about what Aaron Donald is doing for the LA Rams this season? Good enough to elevate him into the MVP discussion?
The last MVP, I think the last defensive MVP was Alan Page.
Because honestly, Mahomes' this is not the best Mahomes. Him during the playoffs last year was better. Him during his MVP campaign was better. I mean, he's not turning the ball over, but he's still, his completion percentage over expectation is below league average. He's only really getting the kind of the home run plays, which may not be sustainable as we go into the winter months here. If he finishes with 33, 34 touchdowns and 2-3 picks, is that really an MVP stat line? And meanwhile, the Rams, if they can win based on defense, that's
such
wild.
A weird thing. It's such a weird narrative-driven thing where go look at some of the stat lines. Go look at Cam's stat line when he won MVP. Sometimes it's just a really good player getting a team to a bunch of wins, and sometimes the stats don't matter. I mean, they absolutely do matter. You have a gaudy stat line, it's going to happen. Adrian Peterson was less important to his team than Peyton Manning that year. But a 2,000-yard season's really hard to ignore. And the narrative was the guy blew his knee out last year.
Yeah.
The huge narrative thing. So I think the fatigue from last year was fine, and they weren't ever going to give it to Mahomes, especially with the highlight runs we saw from Kyler might be live if he keeps doing stuff. That's how narratives work. A guy goes on a 9-game winning streak to end the season with his team after throwing a Hail Mary and whatnot, and all of a sudden he's in the MVP talk. I don't think that's crazy either. It's a dumb award. It's awarded by dumb people doing dumb things with dumb votes. But I still think it might end up being Mahomes, and you'll never see a defensive player again.
Yeah.
That Vikings defense, they held teams, their average was 9.7 points per game or something. They had a bunch of shutouts. It was a filthy defense. I think he killed 2 quarterbacks on the field.
Let's fire. Let's fire away on a couple of these fast questions. Dallas or Suns, who's better? Dallas is better because they have the better player.
I bet some Luka MVP.
Luka is in the
6
MVP
to 1.
discussion this year. I don't doubt it.
Noobs put me on. My guy Noobs put me on that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Harden turns down 50 million to get to Brooklyn. That's an incredible story. That's wild. I want to see it. Yeah, but I don't know about those three and how they fit together. I'm a lot cooler on them than some of our other friends. NBA draft. They snuck the hell up on me, and usually we have a decent amount of info this time of year.
Or something, right?
I haven't heard anything interesting, any useful info at all. I don't even know how, because honestly, there's been no info cycle because they haven't had like the normal, the normal camp and stuff. I would look. This is how a handicap draft. Look for players that are represented by Rich Paul and LeBron James's agency, and upgrade those players because they did the best job of advertising their players to the scouts and to the GMs. So those guys will go higher than you think. That's about the only thing I can really tell you about the NBA draft this year, because I have heard nothing useful so far. Have you heard anything?
I've tailed a couple bets from my boxing guy. He does well in drafts as well. Eddie G. Matt Golnick, ATTYG3 on Twitter. He doesn't have enough followers. He's constantly giving out great boxing bets.
Yes.
He's played a few. I played some Maxey under Tyrese Maxey.
You think James Weissman goes second, top two?
Under 17.5. I've played some.
Dude, did the Bears just fumble the punt?
Edwards not to go first. Well, that helps. An over.
Yeah, not the Bears, though.
Muff. We need the Vikings.
Muff
you think we're getting 28 out of the Bears, baby?
No.
No. This screams field goal anyway. We need 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah.
Muff.
Yeah. That was quite a muff. Damn, that was an ugly one, too.
I've never.
What's this question? Like. What's the question about the steak or medium rare? What was that question? I missed the question. Because there must have been a steak cooking question.
I'll scroll.
Definitely a medium rare guy.
Medium rare. I use only charcoal.
Edwards
pretty much.
Getting buzzed for 1 overall, I think, is solid. I think it goes Edwards Wiseman. That's my guess. I don't have any info on that. That's just a guess.
I think Vikings. Vikings. Excuse me. I think Timberwolves trade the pick.
Oh. What's going on with Thielen? What is he dropping balls? I wasn't really watching. Hex in the chat. Yeah, great live player.
Thielen has 6 targets for 3 catches. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing something.
LaMelo is heavily favored to go number 1. I don't think that comes to fruition. I just kind of have a feeling that he's in the 3rd or 4th slot probably. I don't think they really have eyes for him in Minnesota, and Minnesota can't trade that pick out because they're not getting any kind of fair offer for that.
It's hard to get fair.
What do the Warriors do? I'm not really sure what their vision for the team is, to be honest with you. They obviously need wings.
Do we need to do a draft thing? Are we going to do a draft thing?
I don't have enough info to tell you.
It's on Wednesday. It's like on our podcast day anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Wiseman probably goes too. Yeah, Gav, I agree with you there. Wiseman, I like a Wiseman under 2.5 if you can find it. He'll go 1 or 2 because I think he's the most talented player in this draft. If I'm making a pick, I'm looking for Wiseman first. He doesn't fit great with Towns though, which is why he probably isn't going to go 1 unless they trade that pick. But I also haven't heard anyone really high on Wiseman. So let's see.
Full game Undertaker GFO. Yep. We'll get to it. So, all right, we got 10 points in 4 minutes. Missed PI call. Yeah. We hit. Are we still stuck on 1 penalty?
Yes.
Clean game. Throw out the record books in these, but these guys really know the rules. They're not breaking it. So, one more. Have you been grabbing any in-season futures? Loaf. I'm glad you asked. That's absolutely going to eat up maybe as much as like 10 minutes on the opening part of the podcast. We will timestamp that as well when we do our podcast on Wednesday, so you can listen. We've been kind of, I don't know how much, I've been looking at the schedules, looking at the prices, kind of going through my win probabilities for what I think will happen. And I'm absolutely going to start looking It might not be a, hey, I'm placing this bet now. It's I'm putting this one in the pocket,
In the
and
queue.
in the queue, and I'm going to think about it. If X, Y, and Z happened in a couple weeks, I think this team will be underrated, and maybe it's time to bet them.
I made some in season futures plays that looked so freaking good.
Is this the kid that was from Creighton? I'm trying to think.
Sadiq Bey. See, you're the college
No,
basketball guy.
He's a Big East guy. Is it Nova?
I usually get all my college basketball info during March Madness, and that didn't happen this year. So I don't know anyone. I don't know any of these players, and I have no idea if their development is going to be up to snuff where they're going to make any kind of meaningful impact this year. I'm guessing none of these guys
that's
are
like
going to
the
help.
only player Nova lost, though. Like they're going to be such a good team again this year. And
Should they be favored?
You know why they're fun? Because they shoot 3-pointers like a pro team. It's like watching pro ball.
They're like the Rockets of the NCAA B.
All right, now this will be the very last one. I don't know if you can right now.
I think that hedge is basically an Arizona plus 3.5 this Thursday, because that gets you the middle when Seattle wins by 3.
Oh my God. that would be a fun match.
That hits you in the middle, probably.
Little in the middle, but she got much back.
That's a good one. Good throwback. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's go points. We need 2 more touchdowns.
There's a ton of basketball talk in here. That's fun. I love it, guys. People are pumped. Christmas Day or what? Where is it? 22nd? What's basketball kickoff for NBA?
22nd.
22nd. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Hopefully we do have some basketball on Christmas Day again. Very excited for the NBA. Thanks for everyone for joining us. And then if you do like the YouTube, make sure to just hit the subscribe button over there so you'll always get notifications. You don't need to wander over there. You can
it's so hard to find stuff there unless you're subscribed. I can't even tell you.
It is a lot easier.
Yeah. All right. Best luck, guys.
See you guys.